The first thing Eleanor Whitmore learned about the frontier was that intelligence frightened men more than guns ever did. The train screeched to a halt in the dust-blown station of Red Creek, Wyoming Territory, its iron wheels shrieking like wounded animals as steam burst into the cloudless afternoon sky. Eleanor stepped down from the carriage with gloved hands clenched tight around a leather valise that held everything she owned: 3 dresses, a leather-bound notebook full of careful handwriting, and a pair of wire-rimmed spectacles she only wore when she thought no one was watching. She was 26. Tall. Composed. Brown hair pinned into a sensible coil. And far too educated for most men west of the Mississippi. Around her, the town looked half-built and half-broken: false-fronted buildings, muddy streets, hitching posts crowded with sweating horses, and men with sun-leathered faces watching her the way wolves watched a new creature wander into the clearing. She had come as a mail-order bride. But not the kind Red Creek wanted. 3 ranchers waited near the station platform, hats low, boots dusty. They had answered the matrimonial advertisement placed by Reverend Halvorson in Kansas City: respectable men seeking wives. Land plentiful. Honest work. Marriage guaranteed upon meeting. Each of them took turns studying Eleanor. Too closely. Too critically. The tallest, a thick-necked cattleman with a tobacco-stained mustache, cleared his throat. "You're Miss Whitmore?" "Yes." Her voice was calm, educated. "Eastern." That was mistake number 1. He squinted. "Reverend said you was younger." "I'm the age stated in the letter." The second man, a rail-thin homesteader, tilted his head. "You read much, miss?" "Yes." "How much is much?" Eleanor hesitated only a second. "Latin. French. Accounting. Agricultural journals. Medical pamphlets." The 3 men exchanged glances. The third, a heavy-set fellow with suspenders, let out a low whistle. "Lord Almighty." She blinked. "Is that unsuitable?" The first rancher scratched his jaw. "We're lookin' for wives, miss. Not teachers. I can cook. We ain't doubtin' that. I can sew. Not that neither. I can run household ledgers and—" He waved her off. "That's the problem." Her stomach tightened. "The problem?" Rail-thin muttered, "Woman who thinks too much." Suspendered added, "Woman who argues." "I do not argue," Eleanor said gently. "I discuss." The tallest rancher snorted. "See? That?" The words landed heavier than a slap. They stepped aside, whispering. She heard fragments. "Too sharp. Wouldn't listen. Correct you in front of men. Probably wants voting rights." Her cheeks burned. Finally, the tall one returned her valise to her feet. "I reckon none of us is a match, miss." The ground tilted slightly beneath her. "I traveled 14 days. Sorry. I sold my position at the academy. Still. I was promised a home." He shrugged. And that was that. They walked away. Dust drifted through the space they left behind. Eleanor stood alone on the platform while the town resumed breathing around her. A woman with a carpetbag lingered near the station wall, another bride candidate, younger, blonder, quieter. One of the ranchers was already offering her water. Eleanor swallowed. She turned slowly. And that was when she noticed the man leaning against the hitching post across the street. Black duster coat. Gun belt worn smooth with use. Dark beard trimmed close. Scar along his cheek. He watched the entire exchange without moving. Someone whispered behind her. "That's him." Another voice, lower. "Jonah Blackwood." Her pulse jumped. "The devil of Dry Creek. Ain't he killed 8 men? 10. Sheriff won't even arrest him. He don't need to. Eleanor did not look away. Jonah Blackwood tipped his hat. Just slightly. Then pushed off the post and walked in the opposite direction. She exhaled, unaware she'd been holding her breath. She found a room above the mercantile, a narrow bed, wash basin, cracked mirror. She removed her gloves with trembling fingers and sat on the mattress, staring at her reflection. Too smart. She had been rejected for knowing too much. That night, she wrote in her notebook. Intelligence is currency in cities. Liability in wilderness. Downstairs, voices rose. Laughter. Piano music. Then shouting. A crash. Gunfire. Eleanor froze. 3 shots. People screamed. She crept to the window. Below, lanterns flared. Men ran. A body lay sprawled near the saloon doors. And standing over him. Jonah Blackwood. Gun still smoking. The crowd backed away. The sheriff hovered 10 paces off, pale. Jonah holstered slowly. You'll want to move him before he bleeds on your boards. No one argued. Eleanor shut the curtain with shaking hands. She had come west for safety. Instead, she had arrived in a town ruled by a ghost with a gun. Morning brought heat and horses and whispers. She walked toward the telegraph office, intent on finding work. Halfway down the street, a wagon screeched to a halt beside her. 2 men. Hard eyes. City coats dusty from travel. One smiled too wide. You Eleanor Whitmore? Yes. We got a message from Reverend Halvorson. I. The second man grabbed her arm. Her valise hit the dirt. Come quiet. She twisted free. Let go of me. The street went silent. Jonah Blackwood's shadow fell over them. Gentlemen. His voice was gravel. The smiling man stiffened. We ain't got business with you. Jonah's hand rested near his holster. She's got business with me now. Eleanor blinked. I do. Jonah didn't look at her. Move along. The second man's fingers tightened. Jonah's gun cleared leather. No one saw him draw. The man released her. They backed away. The wagon rolled off fast. Eleanor stared. You saved me. Jonah finally looked at her. Up close, his eyes were gray as storm water. Town don't like kidnappers. They said Reverend sent them. Jonah's jaw tightened. He didn't. How do? You know. Because he's dead. Her breath left her lungs. Jonah picked up her fallen valise. You ought to leave Red Creek. I have nowhere to go. He studied her. You're the bride that got turned down. Yes. For being smart. Yes. A corner of his mouth twitched. Damn shame. Why? Brains get you killed slower than pretty does. She stared. He handed her the bag. If you want to stay alive, miss, you'll walk with me. Why would you help me? His gaze slid to the end of the street where the wagon vanished. Because someone paid money for you. And I don't like owing men I haven't shot yet. Jonah didn't take her to the sheriff. He took her to his cabin. That fact alone made half the town stop breathing. It stood 2 miles outside Red Creek, backed against a ridge of juniper and stone. 1 room. Clean. Locked chests. Rifle rack. You live alone? Eleanor asked. Not today. He handed her coffee. She noticed books on the shelf. Actual books. Medical texts. War journals. Shakespeare. You read. Jonah shrugged. Shot a man once for mocking me about it. She smiled despite herself. You killed him? No. She blinked. He apologized. Outside, hoofbeats thundered. Jonah shoved her behind the table. Stay. 5 riders crested the ridge. The men from the wagon, and 3 more. Pinkertons. Bounty hunters. Jonah swore. They're early. Early for what? For collectin' you. Her stomach dropped. I've done nothing. He loaded his revolver calmly. That's usually who gets sold. The leader shouted. Blackwood. Hand her over. Jonah stepped onto the porch. She ain't yours. She's property. Jonah's eyes went cold. She's a person. Gunfire erupted. Jonah moved like lightning. 2 men fell before Eleanor processed the sound. Bullets chewed the cabin wall. She crawled for cover. Jonah reloaded without looking. 3 more rushed. He dropped one. The other 2 flanked. Eleanor grabbed the rifle from the rack, hands shaking. She had never fired a gun. But she understood angles. Distance. Wind. She waited. Fired. A rider toppled. Jonah glanced back. Hell. The last man fled. Silence returned, broken only by wind and groans. Jonah stared at her. You just saved my life. She swallowed. I calculated. He laughed, once. Sharp. Beautiful. They rejected you for that? She nodded. They were fools. He helped her sit. Bandaged her scraped palm. Someone powerful wanted you moved, he said. Smart women sell well. Teachers. Accountants. Railroad men pay high. I won't be sold. Not while I breathe. She met his eyes. Why? He hesitated. Because the world already tried to make me a monster. I ain't lettin' it make you small. They burned the wagon that night. By dawn, Red Creek buzzed with stories. Jonah Blackwood defending a woman. Killing bounty hunters. Choosing a bride no one else wanted. He escorted her into town openly. Hands nowhere near his guns. That scared people more. You could leave, he told her. Head east. She shook her head. They would follow. Yes. And I don't. Run. Neither do I. He stared. Then you'll need land. I can manage accounts. I got cattle. I can improve yields. Marry me. She blinked. Was that romantic? No. Good. A beat. Yes. The town nearly fainted. 3 months later, when men came again, railroad syndicate thugs this time, Jonah didn't fight alone. Red Creek did. Because Eleanor had balanced their books. Saved their farms. Built a school. Jonah stood beside her on the porch while deputies dragged criminals away. Someone muttered, "She's the smartest woman in 3 counties." Jonah squeezed her hand. And mine. Final narrator call to action. If you love this Wild West romance of danger, courage, and unlikely love, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because more powerful frontier stories are coming every week.